I feel very driven to make things pretty, and I love color. I love pretty things, and I think my passion for color is really what like kickstarted it all, and just being able to transform a space into what I wanted it to be. So I know when my art is finished when I start adding dumb details to it. When I feel like I have to keep going back in and adding something to give it that extra layer of oomph. But more often than not, I find that I hate whatever I'm adding when I get to that point, so that's when I'm done. Because I never like the details. Like any extra work I put into it is like, oh, that took away from what I was actually trying to do. So I guess I can tell a piece of work is done when it feels like it has a life of its own, but it's not too much and represents how I feel, or like what I wanted it, the feelings I wanted to come through. Something that I like doing with my friends is activity called an exquisite corpse, where you like get a sheet of paper and someone will draw the head of a person and then fold it back and then hand it over, and then the next person will draw the shoulders, like fold it back and hand it back, and you do this back and forth until you get a full body of just random stuff, like based on whatever you and your partner did together, and it's like different every time. And that's probably my favorite way to like shake a block. I've been a long-term fan of Degas, the ballerinas specifically. I just love the hyper-feminine like beauty of it, and I pull a lot of inspiration from him as far as like figure work goes. The artwork I'm most proud of is probably my 2 pastel portraits that I did in that workshop over the summer, just because portraits were something I started when I was pretty young. I was interested in them, and having that obvious progress of where I was in like 10th grade to where I am now is so cool. Realizing how I approach form differently and color, and I feel like those 2 portraits specifically, I felt like I finally had a good grasp on what I was doing, and a good grasp on how to catch a likeness and how to use color to create space versus just like coloring in a shirt red, if that makes sense. A lot of my inspiration comes from people I know and wanting to draw people I know, or even people I don't know. I feel like there's something very intimate about just sitting down and mapping out someone's face, which I love to do. I'm often inspired by my own emotions and just processing things. I get pretty frequent nightmares and just like recurring dreams, which give me a lot of imagery to play with. Drawing is like such a perfect way to express these wordless feelings that are going on in my brain in a healthy way. So I went to art school and I graduated in 2015 and basically didn't do art for another, 3 or 4 years. I was like in a really deep creative rut. But what brought me back into it was, oh Jesus Christ, sorry. So I am in recovery from anorexia and CPTSD, both of which have really consumed my 20s. And I think letting go of art really fueled that fire, because I was losing my passion and I was losing a purpose, and everything just felt so suffocating without some way to get rid of it. But without my practice, I was like afraid to get back into it, and feeling really disconnected from art in general and just really sick. And then when I was 27, I went to residential and started doing art therapy there, and actually had a couple one-on-ones with the art therapist who was working there. And that really like opened that box back up for me to be like, oh, art's really scary to make, and my brain is a really scary place sometimes, but like doing this is good, and like doing this gets the shit out. It's an integral part in my recovery. I don't think I could have stuck with it as long as I have been without art being in my life again. I don't know if I've really found the best balance for that yet. Like I said earlier, I see a lot of value in doing something every day, even if it's not you know, for an extended period of time. So just saying like, I sat down and doodled for 5 minutes is like still more impressive than not doing anything at all. So I think with that kind of mentality, it's a lot easier for me to just like take what minutes I can and create where I can, and then hope that come the next day there's gonna be like a 3-hour block of time and I can get something more substantial done, which doesn't happen often unless I want to lose sleep, and that's okay. And I'm an artist, and I'm still gonna keep making it.